Don't wait till the battle's over. Don't wait till the struggle ends. Shout now, right now. Shout now. Don't wait till you make it.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Phillip Show. It is such a great time for inspiration and such a great time for encouragement in the media. We see a lot of people going through so many things right now in national news. It's no different than any other time, but there's a heightened sense of awareness surrounding how we are taking in information. How does it impact us? Where do we go? And a lot of times we're hearing a lot about mental health. What is that? You know, there was a time when it was kind of like a taboo topic, but we're breaking down those barriers and we're breaking down those walls, and we're starting to have the conversation, and not just the conversation. We're starting to see people that have remedies, people that are walking and building and saying, this is what worked for me in my time. And now they're sharing what they've done to become successful, to put their lives in some sort of order when it comes to that. And they're sharing it with the world. And today is no different. So our guest today is magnificent. She created the Gem City Selfie Museum because she wanted to provide a space for people to have positive, life-changing experiences and a space to heal using photography. And as a mental health advocate and champion of mental health awareness, she says that it was her own personal battles with physical and mental health that sparked the idea of what is now becoming very well known as the Gem City Selfie Museum. So help me welcome to the Phillip Show, NaAsiaha Simon. NaAsiaha. Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. Really good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Is it okay if I call you Nai? Can I do that?
Yes, I actually prefer people to call me Nai. I love my name, NaAsiaha. I love it, but I always say Nai because it literally saves you a whole breath.
Look at you saving lives out here, saving lives and saving breaths.
Yes. So Nai is fine.
Right. So as we started the show, I know you're no stranger to what I opened the show with. There's a conversation that is happening now that seems to be a conversation that's becoming more and more welcome. And that is talking about mental health. Do you find that too?
I do. I think that society is seeing that it's an issue. I mean, it's always been an issue, but I think now that and I won't say just millennials, people in general are wanting help. And I think that some people consider it a trend, but it's not a trend.
Right.
This is people's lives that we're talking about. And so I think that, you know, once one person makes it cool, another person makes it cool. And so now that we are talking about something that is cool to some people, they're now seeing the serious side of the coolness. And so I think it's a very hot topic. And for someone as like myself, who is a mental health advocate, my goal is to never have this conversation go away. And that's why Gem City Selfie is so important. And one of the things we say is we focus on the fun and not the filter, because healing is important and it can be fun. And so that's why this space is so necessary and important.
I know that you had mentioned how cool it is, but you know, for those people who are now speaking and making it cool, I mean, much like yourself, you're doing something with the tragedy, you're doing something with the pain, you're doing something with, you know, all of these things. It's not so cool going through it. Tell me a little bit about your story and how you found the courage to use the things that happened to you as a platform to help other people.
Absolutely. So I'm a 2-time brain tumor survivor, and I've had 2 brain surgeries. And so shortly after my first brain surgery, I was diagnosed with depression. And for someone like me, who is the super friend, super daughter, super sister, the super publicist, I'm just, you know, very overactive is what I like to call myself. I don't say I'm busy, I'm just overactive. It was like a punch in the stomach because it's like depression. And I'm like, wait a minute, no. And so when I found out I was diagnosed with depression, I did not want to take medicine. And now and I want to make this clear, it's not that taking, antidepressants, they work for some people. However, because of my health condition and just some beliefs that I have, I just did not want to take medicine. And so
Right.
I sought therapy. And when I would go to my therapy sessions, or even if they were virtually, my therapist knew that I wasn't just going to just sit and talk to her. I needed to be interactive. I needed to draw. I needed to write. I needed to sing. I needed to dance. I needed to scream. And so color therapy was the form of therapy that I did, using colors to navigate conversation. I'm also a brand ambassador for multiple different companies, and I take a lot of pictures. And so when I would take these pictures, I would wear colors that would help me feel better. So I would always go to the oranges, the reds, the greens. And then come to find out, all these colors help alleviate depression.
Did
And
when you were going to these colors, did you just instinctively go to them because they helped you feel better, or is it something that you had to learn or somebody told you?
it was both. It was
Mm,
both. And it's so interesting because I do recall when my mother was here and we went to the green and we went walking, and I was just so drawn to this green dress. It was, what was a skirt? This green skirt. And I was like, oh, okay. And then when I received some clothes for a photo shoot, there was this orange dress. And when I say I wanted to sleep in this dress because I was so drawn to it, and
mm,
then coming to find out that orange is one of the top colors to help alleviate depression.
wow.
And it's a mood enhancer. And I just was like, oh, wow, like colors really, really do work. And then if you get to colors from a spiritual standpoint, they call them your chakras. And the orange chakra is your sacral. The orange represents the sacral chakra, whereas all your emotions and your creativity is kind of like, bound. And that's where I'm like, oh my God, this is why I'm feeling this way, because I have all these bottled up emotions and I need to release them and talk about them. And so now, now that I'm very an advocate for those who practice color therapy, I always tell people, why do you feel like you want to wear yellow, or why do you feel
Mm,
like you want to wear green? And I always talk about, women and sometimes men, we wear black to feel slim. But
mm.
it's also, black is a very comforting color. It's a settling color, and it helps people with anxiety. And so I always tell people, just think about why you're drawn to the colors that you're drawn to, because they can help you.
Wow, the why of it. That's so important. Why are you doing these things? So you learned that there was a why behind your selection, and then you learned kind of the educational components of it to say, oh, this is why I'm choosing that. How did you go from understanding that colors are really important to mental health and mental well-being to saying, I got an idea, selfies?
Yes. So interesting. I went with three of my girlfriends to Atlanta. Shout out to Tiffany, Mariah, and Natasha. And we had went to, hey y'all, we went to the selfie museum. And when I was in the selfie museum, every room did something different for me in a
Mm,
positive way. It was a two-story experience, and I just could not stop thinking about how these rooms made me feel.
mhm,
And so we were out at the club and partying, celebrating life. And it just came to me, and I wrote it on a napkin what the vision would be, what the mission would be. And I signed it. And it was 4:27 a.m. And I have it
mm.
still to this day.
Wow.
And when I came back to Dayton, I just could not stop thinking about my experience at the museum and how it made me feel. Then I reached out to a few other of my girlfriends and shared the idea with them. And I reached out to a friend who works in development, and the story has been history.
It really has, and I want to get into it because I know what it is. And when you just said, hey, I was going into different rooms, um, I want you to explain what is the experience of the selfie museum?
Yes. So Gem City Selfie Museum will serve as an interactive space with installations and illustrations, which we call them selfie walls. And so those walls are basically different theme walls, whether a banana wall, a apple wall, basketball wall, fashion wall, HBCU wall, rainbow wall, walls of very notable people. And with these walls, they have different colors, vibrant colors, or they have interactive props. However, these walls, we want you to come and take pictures with them, whether you take your own picture, which we call a selfie, or you have someone take the picture for you. And the ultimate goal is that we use color and phototherapy for social and mental wellness. So
Mm.
basically, you take a picture, you see your best self. And the idea is that not only will you take a picture with the walls, when we open and have our therapy initiative, you'll be able to come to the museum, meet with a therapist, and have your therapy session in one of the selfie rooms. And the example that I always use is, say you're dealing with stress. The color yellow helps alleviate stress. So you could have your therapy session in the banana room or the sunflower room. And the ultimate goal for Gem City Selfie Museum is to break the stigma on when, where, and how we approach mental health. You don't have to go to someone's office. And it's not to say that talking to someone in the office doesn't work. It does work. However, let's have fun.
Yeah.
You can go to Paris, you can go to space, you can be in a Harry Potter theme room, you could be in Candyland. It's
Oh,
just all up to you. We just want people to heal. We want people to feel safe. It is a judgment-free zone because we're all in this together. And one of the things I always think about is when I was going through my tough time, I thought no one else is depressed. No one else has these thoughts that I have. No one ever thinks about suicide, or no one just gets up and looks at the wall and starts crying. It's like, well, why are you crying? I don't know. I don't know. But one thing I do know is that at Gem City Selfie Museum, you will have support, you will be seen, you will be heard, and you will be loved. And we welcome any and everyone into the museum because healing is important for all of us.
and it sounds like it's so individualistic or individualized to the person's need and experiences. When you have these walls and these rooms, how do you decide what the theme of the room is?
The community,
Mm.
my team, my advisory board, my executive board, I always tell people Gem City Self Museum has nothing to do with me at all.
Mm.
Yes, I am the founder. Yes, I am the visionary. However, I'm just a vessel. I'm just the person who, and again, I don't know everyone's faith beliefs, but I do talk about God a lot, that he just saw fit in me. He knew that I was going to take it across the finish line.
Mm.
And when I think about Gem City Selfie Museum, I think about just the world. Everyone is dealing with some form of mental health, whether it's depression, anxiety, stress, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, OCD, PTSD.
Mm.
And I think about the rainbow. There's so many colors, and the
Mm.
sky's the limit. I love sunflowers, but you may love tulips, and
Mm.
this is why at the museum, all of our walls are interchangeable. We'll change them by quarter or by trend because there is a wall for everybody
I
at
love
Gem
that.
City Symphony Museum. And I always encourage people to subscribe to our newsletter on our website because you can subscribe. And once we send our newsletter out, there's an option to submit ideas. And
Mm.
again, you may say, oh, I want to do a pumpkin wall. Okay, well, in October, you better be at the meeting so you can help us figure out what this pumpkin wall looks like. So it takes a village, but it's really, really, really about community.
When you were starting your journey, and I mean, I'm going to ask this question so because people can see you now and they hear your journey. When you were, because I'm sure it wasn't easy. I'm sure it was
No,
not easy.
and it
And
still isn't easy. That's
oh,
the thing. It still isn't easy. As of 23 days ago, it was my 1 year from my second brain surgery.
wow.
And leading up to May 3rd, I was sick, Phil. I was emotional. I was nice nasty, as my mom likes to call it.
Come on, mom.
And just being honest,
Yeah.
I think that there's this conception that if you go to therapy, you're going to be okay and you don't have to go back.
Mm,
Or if you go to the gym once, you're going to drop those 5 pounds and you don't have to work out again. It's like, no, it's a journey. And for me, I'll be honest, there was a time where I stopped going to therapy because I felt like I feel great. I don't need this. I got
mm,
all the tools and the resources, yes, but I also needed to be held accountable.
mm,
I wasn't doing everything that I needed to do. However, there's triggers.
mm.
And a lot of times I'm triggered, as a 2-time brain surgery survivor, my memory is not always the best.
Yep.
And I am partially blind in my right eye.
Mm,
So I'm triggered very easily when people say, well, I already told you that.
mm.
You don't remember? And I'm like,
Yeah.
you ain't even got to say that. Um, but then also, I have to give myself grace because I had 2 brain surgeries.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wake up and I want to run a marathon and I can put my shoes on, but it doesn't mean necessarily that I'm ready to walk. And at the
Mm,
age of 32, someone who is very active and who loves to dance and who is an extreme extroverted person, that kills me. But
mm.
I always remember that it's okay and I'm going to be okay. And I always tell people that, don't get me wrong, I smile, I love to get dressed. However, I still struggle.
Mm.
But I'm not afraid to say I'm still struggling because I want everyone to know that it's okay. And it's
Yeah.
not, no one's perfect. You just have to continue to do the work. And I want to be an example of someone to everyone that I just won't give up. I will continue to do the work, even if it's hard. And whether I take a selfie, in the sun or the rain, I'm going to keep taking pictures because it's all about self-reflecting and seeing myself because I don't look how I looked like yesterday or the day before. Every day it gets better and I get a little thinner.
Yep. Mm. Well, that part. So I know that you probably have, let me say it this way, because your explanation is, wonderful. And the realization of just how meaningful, because it's not an explanation, it's more of a lifestyle. This is the experience of it. For people who just don't, they're just like, oh, it's just a selfie. It's just, this is just another, gimmick or, whatever, because selfies are so commercialized. How do you combat that type of verbiage or that type of pushback when people kind of approach it in that regard?
Oh, absolutely. Because I always tell people that selfies have been dimmed as narcissistic or
Mhm.
vain or conceited. But it's not that. For us, it's not that. The people in Gem City Selfie Museum, whether they come to the museum or a pop-up or an exhibit, we take pictures to self-reflect, to see the person in the image, to speak to the person in the image and let them know that you are powerful, you are enough, you are loved, you are valued, you can do it. That's what we see. Now, everybody that takes a picture with us, they look damn good. That's where the confidence comes in
Yeah.
because we see our best selves. However, we're looking at it from a self-reflecting standpoint. Whether you take a picture on the soul wall or a selfie with the rainbow wall, those colors make you feel better. You might
Mm,
smell a little different in front of the rainbow wall versus the swirl wall. Why? Because the color brown ain't gonna do what the color yellow gonna do.
got it.
I always tell people, it's just like when you get dressed. When you put on that 2-piece suit, you feel different than your jeans and your t-shirt.
Mm,
You feel
this is
different when you're wearing, basketball shorts versus your hoochie daddy shorts.
true.
So the idea is that it's all about perception.
Oh, mhm.
And with us, we see our best self and we're self-reflecting. And don't get me wrong. Yes, selfies, there are some people in the world who have taken selfies and it's made them very cocky. However, at Gem City Selfie Museum, we're here to build the confidence for people. And we're not going to take that away from them because everybody looks good. However, we want you to self-reflect and heal while doing it.
I know that you said that you have different walls and you do different themes. You said HBCU, there's a banana room. Who is the Selfie Museum for?
The Selfie Museum is for everybody. And I know people say, well, how? That's such a big demographic, because we have a big heart
Mhm.
and we have a big goal. And our goal is to help everybody. Um, because mental health doesn't have a stereotype.
Mm.
It's not just going after, girls with orange braids, or a young black male with a haircut, or a Caucasian young lady with blue eyes. Mental health is everybody.
Sure.
Everybody. The thing is, everybody doesn't have insurance.
Mm.
Everybody doesn't have resources. Everybody doesn't have a mother or a father or a friend or a cousin they can reach out to. However, everybody will have access to Gem City Selfie Museum.
How so? Tell me how so.
So once we open, which excuse me, once, because we're still in our development phase, and we do look to be open at the end of the summer of this year, which summer is between July and September for those who wonder. And so how people be able to get access. So we serve as a nonprofit and a for-profit. Monday through Thursday, we will have therapists on site that will be able to help you with whatever your issue may be. And you would go on our website and book a therapy session. Every person will be allocated either 45 minutes or an hour, based on availability. And then when you come into the museum, you do your assessment with your therapist, and then you all decide which room is best for you for your session.
Mm.
And for those who don't need any therapy session, Friday through Sunday, we serve as an attraction. You can just come and take all the selfies with us.
Okay, so it's open, number one, for therapy, and number two, for
For
just
fun.
for fun. Thank you. That I was like looking for some sort of word, fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's open for fun. And I know, and let me know if this is on, we can find this on your website too, because you do different pop-ups and you're in different locations and you partner
Mhm.
with different organizations to feature the Selfie Museum. How does that work, and where can they find you in that regard?
Yeah, so I always tell people, or anyone, to follow us. We're active on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and TikTok.
Nope.
And you follow us, and we will keep you updated. You can go onto our website and subscribe to our newsletter. We send those out quarterly to let you know what pop-ups we're getting ready to do. And I always tell people, go subscribe. We're getting ready to send out a newsletter, let you know where we'll be in June. You'll see us at a few Pride events, a few Juneteenth events, a few fashion and food truck rallies, and you just may see us somewhere in one of your favorite shopping malls. So I just always say, stay connected. We're built and molded in love. Every team member, every developer, every painter, we just love people. We're here to serve and just stay connected, because you never know, you could be on our team as well.
See? And you have a lot going on. That's very clear. You're very active. What is the epitome of success for Nye?
Oh man, what is the epitome of success for me? Um, so that answer changed for me this past February. Because it's changed over a few times, because at first I thought success looked like a monetary thing for me.
Mm.
Um, I thought success looked like a fashion thing for a while. I thought success was a body shape for a while.
Mm.
But recently, success for me looks like a smile
Mm.
and a grin and a little like sparkle in the eye. And I know people are gonna be like, what? What does that mean? So this past February, February 1st through March 15th to be exact, we did the Black History Month pop-up exhibit.
Mhm.
And the way we had set up the exhibit, it was like a color palette for me, because when people walked in, I would see how they would respond to each wall. However, when they would hit a corner, they would smile. And when they would keep walking around, their eyes would light up and their body language would change. And that's how I knew they got it.
Mm.
that's how I knew the work we were doing was meaningful and impactful, and it was necessary. We weren't just wasting money. We weren't just doing things for Channel 2 or 7 or these outlets. We were really touching people's heart.
Yeah.
That was success for me. No award, no no article could ever replace seeing the look on the people's faces who came to the pop-up exhibit.
Mm.
So when I think about the future and success for me, I think about opening up the museum and people walking in and leaving not the same way they came in. I think about the lives of people who will be impacted because they got to sit inside of a Paris phone box to talk to their therapist. I think about the little girls and boys who will get to be participant in the summer for the selfie program. And they learn about mental health, and they learn about color therapy, and they learn about what we call the happy colors. And I think about the kids who get to take home their own personal selfie wall. And who knows whether they put it on their dresser or on the floor. Every time they look at it, they're going to think, I can do this. I want to be strong. I'm calm. We call them butterflies in their stomach, but that's anxiety. But I can get through this. And so that's what success looks like to me.
Wow. Well, you are well on your way. Well on your way. And I thank you so much for taking time out of your day. This is and I love the word that you said. You used the word necessary. You know, I think the message is necessary. I think the permission to be able to see mental health as something that's attainable and can be spoken of and pursued is necessary. So thank you for that.
No, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so for you guys out there in TV land, I've been trying to get this woman on this show. Listen. So I am overjoyed that we were able to connect, and I am super excited about what the future holds for the Selfie Museum and for the people that it positively impacts.
Yes.
Absolutely. So everybody, that was Nye with the Gem City Selfie Museum. And your takeaway today is it's possible. Healing is possible. There are tools, there are people, there's a museum. People have walked different life's journeys, and through their journey, they have pulled out gems to share with the world, healing gems to share with the world. So at the beginning of this interview, we heard that it's easy to feel like you're alone. It's easy to feel like your challenge is only your challenge and nobody can understand. There are people who understand. You are not alone. And as I say many, many times here, remember that you are the best you in the world.